Welcome to Busy Living Sober, Busy Living Sober, Busy Living Sober. How is everybody? Happy Wednesday. It's Wacky Wednesday. Do we like my crazy hair? Isn't it fun? I have crazy hair. Crazy girl for crazy hair. It is the second Wednesday in the year of 2024, and we're at episode 408. Busy Living Sober 408. And hi, I'm Elizabeth Chance, also known as Busy. For those of you that don't know, if you're back visiting again, hi, welcome. So glad you're here. And if you're new, welcome too. And I hope you enjoy today's show. Today, we're going to talk about spiritual resilience, how to get through this life of addiction and what we're dealing with addiction today. And it's so crazy. I have watched, I'm a big YouTuber watcher these days. I know kids have been doing it forever, but it's new for me. And I go on there because that's where I do Deepak Chopra's meditations all the time. So instead of going to his website, I just go to YouTube and I find, 21 days, and I do 21 days of this one or 21 days of that one. Anyway, that's my thing I do. But when I get in there, I don't know if like you do, you get sucked into the social media and you're like, oh my God, sure, I go into the abyss. But I've been looking at all these people like Jordan Peterson and other podcasters that are out there that are talking about alcoholism and talking about drinking. And like the number one thing everybody's saying is don't drink anymore. It's not healthy. And you're like, wait, what? This is finally coming out 17 years ago. 17 and a half years ago when I put down my last drink, nobody was talking about not drinking. It was definitely not out there. And for those of you that don't get my newsletter, I just put out my first newsletter of 2024 last Friday. It's coming out every Friday. So if you want to get my newsletter, you have to go to my website. ElizabethChance.com is the easiest. You can also go to busylivingsober.com and you can sign up for my newsletter, and it's going to come out every Friday. But this last Friday, I put out a newsletter and it was kind of talking about, it was really crazy that I thought about this, but it's so funny. When I got sober 17 and a half years ago, for one, you could smoke in AA rooms, okay? 12-step meetings, you could smoke cigarettes. And of course I did. Because what's better than if you can't drink is smoke? Hello. And you could smoke and you'd walk into these rooms with billows of smoke and just be like, I'm swimming through the smoke instead of swimming through water. And one of the major jobs when I was getting sober was for people that were newly getting sober was to go clean the ashtrays. It was like your little job. It's so crazy because here we are 17 and a half years ago. You can probably get arrested for smoking a cigarette. You can smoke weed. Okay, everywhere. People like vape these weed, and it's odorless weed. All the rest of it, edibles. There's weed stores all across America. There's a weed store I know across the street from one rehab I know for a fact, which is insane. But now it's okay to smoke weed. Okay. This is like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. I think the older we get, the more we see. And you remember, like, I remember my grandmother saying it was like this when she was growing up, and it was like this when she was growing up. And then my mom was saying things that happened to her when she was growing up. And they were always would be like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this. And here we are. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Are we living on a totally different planet? But it totally seems like that. In 17 and a half years, life has changed dramatically. One of the things that I've really been thinking about is the fact that more and more people are talking about the fact that alcohol is a problem. It makes you dumb, right? It made me like literally crazy girl. I'd be like, I'd fall over. It's like one of those people that fell all the time. I'm like, my feet, I don't know, were my feet too small for my body or my feet too big for my, I have no idea, but it was like one of those things that I was always like, fell over. Fell over. And then I was the blackout that kept talking, talking, talking. And in the blackouts, I'd be like, nobody understood what I said because I totally left my body. And now they're finally saying, that's not a good idea to drink. And I'm like, wow, what? All these people saying it's not a great idea to drink. Not only that, but there's all these alternative ways to get sober. There's sober sis, there's sober curious, There's all these different people. You can sign up for their coaching courses and you can go and you can take their course and they're going to give you all these ideas on how to stay sober. When I got sober 12 and a half years ago, 17 and a half years ago, there were no other options for me. So I literally was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I have 3 little kids. I don't want to do this anymore. What are my options? There was none. I mean, there was O'Doul's, I guess, but none of these fancy drinks and these people making fun mocktails online. I've been doing that for a long time too. But back then, it was your only option was going to a 12-step room. That was it. And I have to tell you that in some ways, it was really kind of nice. And I don't want to sound like an old lady here, but it was nice in that I had instantaneous friends. And that was one of the biggest things for me is that I wanted to make friends. I've always been social. I love people. People are where I get my inspiration. People are where I get my energy. People are where I just love people. All different kinds of people, all different walks of life of people. I love people. I just love watching people. I love talking to people. I love learning from people. That's my thing. I love people. So when I was getting sober, I was like, oh my God, where am I going to go? Because the people that I used to hang out with like to party, and now I can't hang out with the partying people because I'm not doing that anymore. So what am I going to do? Where am I going to find friends? How am I going to find this? And I have to say, again, this is pre-COVID. It's pre so many things. It's pre the internet being what it is today. It's pre all this stuff. I had to get up, pick my butt up, walk out the door, drive down the street, no matter if it was raining, if it was snowing, if it was a billion degrees, if there was a car accident, if I didn't have a babysitter. I mean, I went to any length to get sober. It was like not an option. It was like, if you want this, you need to do what I say. You need to go to a meeting every day. You need to call somebody every day. It was no texting. It was like, you have to do these things if you want to do this. And I was like, really? Okay. If you're going to tell me if I do A, B, C, D, and E, I'm going to have this life that they would say it's going to be beyond your wildest dreams. And I'd be like, bullshit. How is this going to be beyond my wildest dreams? I thought being beyond my wildest dreams was dancing with the band, right? It was falling down. It was waking up in the next morning going, who am I? Where am I? Who's that? What did I do last night? Is my car sitting there? That was my life. So this is going to be beyond my wildest dreams. Am I buying what you're putting down? I don't know, but I believed them. I don't know why. I have no idea. Looking back today, I'm like, how did I get so lucky that I believed what these people said and I wanted what they had? I was so desperate. That's what I think it was. I was so sick and tired of pretending that I was something that I wasn't. I was like, I'm a partier. I'm a partier. That's what I thought I was. I've got this all under control. People would be like, you look so great. I'd be like, yeah, thanks. Little do you know, like I was dying on the inside slowly. I mean, I was 37 years old when I got sober. And now looking back, I was kind of cute. Just kidding. I just think, okay, it was kind of a little bit cuter. There are not as many wrinkles, whatever. I've earned all of them. Um, but I really wanted this. I wanted this like idea of like this whole new life. Like, oh my gosh, if I do these little things, it wasn't like I had to go climb Mount Everest. Like, that would not be like if you had said to me, you have to go climb Mount Everest, I'd be like, not happening. If you had told me I needed to read a book all the time, not happening. You need to do it this exact way, or you're going to not get it. Wouldn't work for me. By the grace of God, literally by the grace of God, I found this room. I was lucky. I was lucky. I have to tell you, my brother-in-law at the time steered me in the direction. It's now my ex-brother-in-law, but a really nice guy. And I'm not going to give his name because that's not fair. But, he was like, go here, go to this place, ask this girl to help you. And I was like, really? And he was like, yes. And I'm like, okay. And I said, okay. I trusted him enough to follow his instructions. And then I trusted this person that I asked to help me. I was like, will you help me? And she said, yes. She said, you're going to have to, I'll help you, but you have to have skin in the game. And I think that's one of the biggest things. And I don't know that skin in the game necessarily means money. Okay. It means you are willing to do different things, that you are willing to wake up in the morning and maybe you get up on the left side of the bed, maybe you get up on the right side of the bed. You might have to move your partner or your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. But maybe you get up on the other side of the bed. I didn't have anybody in my bed, so that was kind of nice, except for me, myself, and I had already blown up my marriage. So it was me and my 3 kids. And I think back to it, and I know now it probably sounds like this was so easy, but again, 17 and a half years gives me perspective. But I never forget that it was like I had to get up and I had to go. I had to go to this meeting. I had to go take phone numbers. You're like, what? I think but younger people might find this hard, but like I had to walk up to people and be like, can you would no, you know what? I'm better yet. Here's what really happened. I went, they'd hand out this pamphlet. This is not a pamphlet. This is mail. Actually, this is mail, but it was like kind of like this size. And I was like, here's a pamphlet. We're going to give you this pamphlet and it's going to give you like what the 12-step room is all about. And it's going to give you the information about the room. On the last page is a place where you could write your phone numbers. So they'd pass around with a pencil and a piece of paper. They'd pass this around to all the women in the room and they'd say, write down your phone number. So everyone would write their phone number down on this piece of paper. And they would say to you, okay, now listen, if you feel like picking up a drink, call one of these people on this list. You're like, what? Call a total stranger and tell them my intimate feelings? And I did it. And they said, and the other thing is, come back tomorrow. And you're like, what? Come back tomorrow? Yes, come back tomorrow. And you might be like, really? And yes, that's what I had to do. And it's so funny because so many people I've heard on my journeys, I actually heard somebody just the other day say to me, you know what? I went to an in-person meeting and it was okay. I didn't really love it. And I thought to myself, hmm, I didn't love every meeting I went to in the beginning. I don't love every restaurant I go to. I didn't love every bar I went to. I don't love all people. I mean, I do love most people, but I don't love everything from the very beginning, right? So if you don't like that one, if you live somewhere in a city, especially, there's meetings everywhere, all over the world, all over the world. You don't like this one? Go to a different one. Go to a different one. Go to a different one. I luckily lived outside of Philadelphia where there are so many meetings. It's crazy. And not only are there so many meetings there, I could go to New York. I could go to I could go down to DC and everywhere in between. I had this vast plethora of a playground to choose from. It was amazing. Now, back then, again, there was no phone with an app that said meeting finder. Oh, it knows exactly where you are. It knows where a meeting is within a certain proximity of where you live. Now you can find that out on your phone. Back then, no. Back then, you'd got a book. They had a booklet that would tell you your towns and it would tell you where the meetings were in your town, what the subject was of the meeting. If it was big book, meaning they talk about the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. If it was a speaker meeting, somebody was going to tell their story. If it was a step meeting, if they were going to talk about the 12 steps, in which one they would talk specifically about one of the 12 steps in a step meeting. And As Bill Sees It, which is a book, A Coming to Believe. It was really, you know, it was amazing because, you know, I was so busy, no pun intended on that. I was so busy going to these meetings, besides the fact of having my other life, right? I have 3 kids, I had dinner to make, I had kids to get home from school, there was homework, there was everything else that I had to do. Um, and it takes time, right? It takes time. And people have written to me recently and said they're kind of lonely and they don't know what to do. And they're like, they've been drinking too much and they don't find any friends. And it's so crazy because I know that our egos, which is easing God out for so many people, is our egos can say, oh no, I don't want to go there because this person's going to judge me and that person's going to judge me and this person's going to think this of me and this person's going to think that of me. And oh my God, what if my neighbor sees me? Oh my God, what if this person sees me? Oh my gosh. I got to tell you, I, this is the craziest thing. I always went to meetings literally right down the street from my house. And you're like, you did? I did. Because I'm going to tell you this. If we're getting to the point, now I was an outside of my house drinker. I drank in bars, I drank at parties, I did all those things. Everybody knew that I liked to drink a lot. Okay. Everybody knew. I was trying to keep this secret. Like we have these secrets we're trying to keep from each other. We all know the light is shining through, by the way, everybody. We're seeing things. All these things are happening and we're seeing them now. As much as the government and everybody else doesn't want them to see it, want us to see them. We see them. The reality is, and guess what? What other people think about you is none of your business. And if they're judging you, they're not your friends. And who cares? Get them out of the way. This is not about them. This is about you. Getting sober is about you. It's not about anybody else. It's not like, oh, is Sally going to think it's okay that I'm getting sober? Is Susie going to like that I'm getting sober? Is Debbie going to like that I'm getting sober? Who cares? This was about me from day one. It wasn't what my neighbors were going to think. It wasn't what my friends were going to think. It wasn't what anybody else was going to think. It was about me feeling so desperate that I needed to change. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And am I going to go pay a lot of money, which I did not have, to go to a rehab? No. Was someone going to take my kids so I could go to a rehab? No. So what was my option? My option was like doing this and getting invested in something as much as and as scary as it was. Yes. Was I worried that it was a cult? For sure. Oh my God. I told my siblings that had been in this program before, like, oh, you're a cult member. You're a cult member. So, yes, I had preconceived notions. I had all this other BS that was standing in the way of me getting help. Yes, for sure. All these things were going on in my head. What's this person going to think? Oh my God, what is this going to be like? How am I going to do this? What is it? I mean, all the doom you can have, right? All the negative, all the fear, all the worry, all the stuff that we have inside of us that goes, oh my gosh, you can't do this. It's going to be terrible. Oh, what's your life going to be like? Nobody's going to like you. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. Okay. Well, waking up in the morning going, I hate myself is not horrible. That's not horrible enough. I don't know. For me, that was horrible enough. Waking up going, what did I do? What did I say? Who did I hurt? Oh my God, I don't remember anything from last night. Is there anything worse than not remembering? You're like, oh my God, do I have amnesia? What happened to me? I don't remember. And now I look back, I have almost 2 decades that I don't remember. I have to call my friend Jeannie, who's been on my podcast a bunch of times. Jeannie, what did I do? What did I say? Do you remember this person? Luckily, she's sober, but she's a much better memory than I do. And I'll call her and I'll be like, hey, phone a friend. Do you remember this? And she'll luckily remember it. But that alone feeling that I had was all about me. That was about me being alone and not getting up, lifting my butt out of a chair and taking myself to a church basement. That's what I had to do. I had to do it. And I met all sorts of people, so many different kinds of people, so many amazing stories, so many stories of hope, so many stories of joy. There's something they say that I've heard people say. I don't know where I heard it, but I'm going to tell you, I heard somewhere that the endorphins that our bodies give off, I think it's endorphins or whatever they are, parabens or whatever we're giving off when we're around each other. It's kind of like when you go to church. I don't know if you go to church or synagogue or mosque, whatever you go. When you're there, you feel so great. You walk out the door, you're like, gosh, I just feel so much love. I was just around so many people. There was music. We were hugging. It was so joyful. And we leave there and we feel good. That was like a 12-step meeting for me. I was like, oh, I just left here. I heard inspiration. I heard hope. I heard sadness. I heard, oh, such sadness. Such sadness, but such hope, such joy, such inspiration, such love. It was amazing. And is everybody perfect there? No. Is anybody perfect anywhere? No. Don't even fool yourself. We're humans. We're fallible. The only thing that is not fallible is God. That's what they tell us, right? God. Oh my God, I heard the funniest joke. I just have to tell you guys this really quickly. It's totally off. But this guy goes to his rabbi and he says, "Oh my gosh, my son, he became a Christian. Oh my gosh, my son became a Christian." And the rabbi looks at the gentleman and says, "Oh my gosh, it happened to my son too. He became a Christian." And then they said, and then God says down to them, "And it happened to me too. My son became a Christian." It's so funny. I just thought that was a really funny joke. But what I want to say is that if we go and we take ourselves out of our houses, out from behind these darn computers, behind out from our phones, and we go and we meet people, total strangers, we are going and we're making ourselves vulnerable, but we have to walk in going, "I'm okay." I know that, guess what? Every person that is in a 12-step meeting had their first meeting too. Can you believe it? They all did. Everybody that's there, everybody that's sitting in that room had the same experience you're feeling right now. Everybody. Everybody has the feeling of it's like the first day of school. Who wants to go to the first day of school, especially elementary school and then middle school and then high school? Remember that feeling? It's like, "Oh my God, it's the first day of school. I gotta go see all these people. Oh my God, that's so scary." And then you walk into a new school and you're like, "Oh my God, I have to make friends again. Oh my gosh." That same feeling happens when you walk into a 12-step room. But all the other people that are sitting in that room, if there's 10 of you, if there's 100 of you, if there's 200 people in there, every person who's been there has had that same feeling of like, "Oh my God, this is so, everybody's going to look at me. What is everybody going to say?" It's that feeling of like, it's a human feeling. It's not so much an alcoholic feeling as it is a human feeling. Having that feeling like everybody's staring at you doesn't feel comfortable. Feels so, oh, like, "Oh my God, what are they going to think?" The reality that you need to be worrying about right now is how you feel and how you want to feel. You don't want to feel alone. You don't want to feel lonely. You want to feel like you're being heard. You want to feel that love, that feeling that has in those rooms and churches and mosques and everywhere you may go to practice religion, that feeling in schools, like anywhere that you go, that you finally walk in and you're like, "I'm just going to be me. I'm going to let go of all the persona. I'm going to let go of all this stuff. Who am I?" You might walk into that room and not know who you are. I had no idea who I was. All I can tell you, I was 37 years old and I had 3 little kids. I was divorced. I had been drinking my face off, and I had nowhere else to go, nowhere else to turn. That was it for me. That was the answer. And as loud as my head said, "Oh my God, this is scary, this is scary, this is scary," the other side of me said, "You got to change, Elizabeth. You got to change or you're going to die. You got to change or you're going to die. You got to change or you're going to die. You got to change or you're going to die." And that is truly what has taken me on this journey for this whole 17 and a half years is this. And I still, to this day, think I could never go back to that darkness I felt, that darkness inside of me. It was so dark. The drinking was so dark and it was so lonely. If we're lonely, we need to get up and we need to go be around people. If we feel like we're lost, we need to go find a map. 12 Steps Rooms gave me a map, gave me a blueprint. It said, "Follow this, do this." I was like willing and able. Here I am. I'm exhausted. I'm beat. I'm done. My ideas do not work. Yours are probably better than mine. I am willing to follow you. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to spin this for a little bit of negativity, not negativity, but reality in a lot of situations because getting sober is not easy. Getting sober, staying sober is really a difficult thing. And when we're in our active addiction, 9 out of 10 of us have families, and we have families that love us, and we have spouses that we want to save. And I don't think we can save everybody. I'm going to give you another personal story here. You know, addiction is just so cunning, baffling, and powerful. And people die all the time of addiction. I just lost a friend. I hadn't seen him in like 8 months, but the last time I saw him was at the Super Bowl. So that was February of last year. And he was doing well. He had been sober for a year and a half, and he was playing golf all the time, on his bike all the time, in the ocean all the time. He was so happy. And he's like, I'm going to go back to my home where I grew up. I'm going to go back there and I'm going to get a big job and I'm going to make a lot of money. And I'm going to make something in my life and I'm going to stay sober. I'm going to do that. And the day after Christmas, he passed away. No one got into the particulars because we don't need to know what the actual particulars are of why and how it happened and what it looked like. It doesn't matter. We just know that this disease kills you. It's we have this ego inside of ourselves, and I don't know if it's been perpetuated by the fact that on social media we make ourselves seem so much bigger than ever because people give us likes and that gives us this encouragement. People follow us, that gives us encouragement. But it's such an inside job. Getting sober, being sober is such an honest, tough place to go to. It's a place you have to go inside of yourself and really be okay with what's looking back at you in the mirror. It's not always easy. It's not always easy. And but there is no other option. You know, if you want to stay alive, because this will kill you, and it might take. You might live to 50, you might live to 60, you might live to 20, you might live to 15, you might live to 18, you might live to 85, you might live to whatever number it is. But while you have this disease that is so cunning, baffling, and powerful that you think, why is this person doing this? Why are they drinking? They have so much to live for. They've got a beautiful girlfriend. They've got a beautiful wife. They've got a beautiful husband. They've got beautiful kids. They've got a house. They've got this. They've got beautiful cars. They've got all these things. They have nothing. A person who has nothing. Why was a person that has nothing material want to just throw their life away over alcohol and drugs? Well, for one, it's mental illness. We can call it that because that's the way our government calls it. Drug and alcohol facilities are under mental health facilities when you deal with insurance. So it's mental health. It's there's options out there, but there's no magic pill for this. There is no magic recipe that is going to work for you. There's not. There is it's got to be what works, what you feel inside of you. And it might take you. It took me probably 2 years of literally going and just doing what my sponsor told me to do. I just did whatever she said. I would call her. I'd be like, "Oh my God, do I have to make dinner again? It's chicken surprise again." She'd say, "Yep, yep, you have to do that." And I'd be like, "I hate because my ex-husband was in active addiction until I had 7 years of sobriety, and I had little kids, and it made me so mad, and it made me so angry, and I was such a judge and such a control freak and such a God, I just wanted to save him. I just wanted to save him. I wanted to save my kids. I wanted everybody to get better. I wanted it to be this way, and I wanted to control it all. And I wanted to call the police, and I wanted this to happen. I wanted him to quit drinking. I wanted him to quit drinking. I wanted him to quit drinking. I hated what he was doing. I hated what he was doing to our kids. I hated all these things, but I couldn't do anything about it. And I would say, like, be like, oh, I wish I had a Ouija doll. Back in those old days, I would watch, like, I don't know, Gilligan's Island or one of those shows, or if it was, because that's what I watched, like Fantasy Island, Gilligan's Island, and Love Boat, and the Brady Bunch. And I remember somebody talking about a Ouija doll, and I'd be like, I just want to put a Ouija doll and just make me go away. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And my sponsor, who was brilliant at the time, who was still brilliant, um, said to me, you have to pray for him. And I'd be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't pray for him. And she said, you have to pray for him. So because I went to these 12-step meetings, and we get together and we hold hands at the end. At least that's what we used to do. I have to be honest, I haven't been going to many in-person meetings since COVID myself, just because life's just changed so dramatically. But we would hold hands and we would sit there and we would say, pray for the sick and suffering in it. Well, let's have a moment of silence to pray for the sick and suffering in and outside of this room. And every time I pray for him, I pray for him. As much as I, at the same time, was like, oh, I hate him. Oh my God, I want to kill him. Oh my God, he's such a jerk. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But I pray, God, please change him. God, please help him. God, please. Because there was no human power that was going to do it. I wasn't going to go and I wasn't going to make this happen. I wasn't going to make that happen. I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to do that. It wasn't about all this stuff. As human beings, we think we have so much control, and we have so little control of other people. We have so little control of what's going to happen in the world. We have no control, none. It's my favorite thing about getting sober is that I got to realize that I was powerless over everything. Not only am I powerless over alcohol, I'm powerless over what my neighbor's going to do, what my kids are going to do, what my husband's going to do, what anybody's going to do. It has nothing to do with me. I have no power. But it's so hard to feel that inside of me. I got no power. When the world says, oh, what are you going to do when you grow up? And you're supposed to say, oh, I'm going to go here and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this. And then it doesn't happen. You're like, wait a minute, that's what I said I was going to do. And now I can't do it. Everybody's going to judge me. It doesn't matter. We got to be a little bit less harsh on ourselves, a little more loving to ourselves, a little more loving to our neighbors, a little more like, I don't know what it's like to walk in his shoes. I don't know what it's like to walk in her shoes. I got to mind my own business. And this didn't happen right away, you guys. This has been a journey. It has been a journey, and it's so crazy. And I'm going to end with this because I think it's a positive. You know, I I've been really thinking a lot about like what has transpired in 2023, and it's over. Thank God. And here we go. I love the fact that we have new beginnings. But the crazy thing is, I don't have new beginnings just because it's a new year. I have a new beginning every single solitary day that I wake up. And so here I am in my new day, in my new year. And all I keep reading is let go. And she's such trust and I mean, obviously you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket, but I can't be into things just for the outcome. I have to be into things because they bring me joy in the moment. I have to be into things because it brings me happiness right now, not down the road, not if this happens or if that happens. It doesn't matter. We're all on this journey. There's little things that happen all the time that bring us happiness. Like, I'm just so happy the trash man just left. I just saw him. He picked up my trash and took it away. Wow, that was good. Now it's not sitting in the back of my house. Awesome. Awesome. That's good. Good way to start my Wednesday. Ooh, 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 ooh. They're gone. The trash man's gone. That's like the little things that we can be grateful for. The little things. I got to let go. But if I didn't take the trash out there, it wouldn't have been picked up. Right? Then I couldn't get this feeling of, oh my gosh, that's something off my list. Feels pretty good. Letting go, finding joy in the light in your life, finding a roadmap if you're looking for one, and be willing to take that step going, I'm going to go and I'm going to take this new roadmap, even though it feels uncomfortable, even though I feel like I'm back in a 12-year-old body, feeling like, oh my gosh, what is everybody thinking? Oh my God, this is so scary and it's so hard. But again, this is about you. It's not about anybody else. Making yourself a priority is where it comes from. Making yourself go, oh my gosh, this is what I need to do for me. This is what I need to do for me. If my loved one is drinking too much, I might have to go to an Al Anon meeting. That's also available all the time, all over the place. You might not like it, but you can go and try it and just see if you like it. And then maybe try another one, and then maybe try another one. Maybe find one on Zoom, maybe find a book, maybe find a therapist, maybe find a coach. You don't have to do this world by yourself. All you have to do is get into action, though, because if you're ready to change, it's up to you to make that change. It's up to you to pick your butt up off that chair and go do something different. You can reach out to me anytime. Okay. You can reach out to me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. And that's ELIZABETH at elizabethchance.com. Or you can even get busy, BIZZY at busylivingsober.com. But you know what? You're not alone. I've been there, and I'm not the only one who's been there. Everybody's been there. We all get to this place where it's like, oh, I gotta do something or I'm gonna die. Change it. Do it. Take that step. Take that baby step. Reach out to me and just know you're not alone. Got a guest coming on Monday, and I'll be back on Wednesday. Next Wednesday, you get me solo again, and maybe I'm gonna find a producer. And sign up for my newsletter. It comes out every Friday. You can sign up for it when you go to my website. First prompts you, do you want to be part of the newsletter? You sign up for it and you'll get it into your inbox next Friday. But until next time, keep getting busy, living sober. Bye, everybody. Have a happy day. Have a happy